Recording in progress. Okay. So what we're going to do over the next couple upcoming weeks is I want to put it together a little mini course. Now, the mini course will just compile everything we are going to go through. But the mini course I'm going to put together is the start to end of getting a sale in Enagic, right? I want to simplify it for you guys. So these little Zoom calls, this little course will go from ad copy, lead generation, objection handling, objection of sale, objection of platform, how you should respond, how you shouldn't respond, and just little bits and pieces just to help you get to the end game. And of course, I want you guys to step up. When I first started this, I'll tell you, I didn't gain confidence until my coach, not Brody's upline, but someone above him, which his name was David Wilkinson. He gave me the opportunity of hosting team meetings. So I just put my hand up for that. The reason why is because I wanted to gain just the confidence of speaking in front of like a small audience. And it helped me because I personally like to help people. And I like to be sort of the point of contact, if you would say. And I wanted to put myself in that position. And I've never done Zoom calls before, and I never had done Zoom calls. So that forced me out of my comfort zone, and it forced me to come up with something every single week. Okay. And every single week I will be picking each one of you guys, and I'll be like, okay, well, I would like Fatima, for example, to speak about content. What should you content? What helps you put content together? How do you compile content? How do you get proper leads? All these stuff, I'm going to push you guys out of your comfort zones and come to speak on a team meeting. Lucky for you, most of my team is offline. So we have a very small little bunch of people and forever growing. Just to help you guys put into perspective, it's not scary. No one's going to judge you or anything like that. Okay. You're not going to learn. You're not going to learn how to be a leader until someone pushes you in the deep end. I'm not going to baby you forever. My inbox is always consistently open to you, but there will be times where I don't reply back to you on purpose. Okay. And why? I'm not punishing you. I'm not being a fucking shitty mentor. That's just my way of saying, I'm here. I see your messages, but if I reply back to your messages, it's going to do more damage than good because I'm not here to baby you. Okay. I want to push you guys out of your comfort zone. I want to push you guys into leadership positions. And I really want to push you guys just to see yourself as more than just a newbie. You're not a newbie. No, my friend, you're not a newbie. You're the mentor. See yourself, show yourself, and show up every single day like you're a 6A. And I guarantee you in no time, you'll be a 6A. Okay. So in this meeting, we're going to go very quickly. I'm going to go show you guys through Wix. Okay. Now I will say this training, just Wix, is optional. If you feel like this part of the training works for you and works for your dynamic and you want that extra part of work, go ahead and do it. Okay. For Abbas and I, our landing page never was easy enough to access for us because when we first started, we started with a different platform and the platform made it really hard for a landing page. You had to pay like an excessive amount of money. You had to pay like $130 a month on top of the monthly fee and everything like that. It didn't really work, right? It didn't really fit with our dynamics. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We left that part of the training out, and instead of just sending the webinar through a landing page, we're just sending the webinar like directly. So if you guys have a YouTube link, we're sending out the webinars just directly, okay? And then Abbas and I started to experiment. We started making our own webinars because the webinars from the platform used to be over 2 hours long. No one's going to watch a 2-hour webinar, okay? We wanted to get down to I remember at one stage, our webinar was literally 12 minutes. Okay. Did it convert? No, not really. But eventually along the way, it did. Now we're using Brody's one. And for the life of me, I prefer using Brody's one because it gives me less to worry about. The less you worry about in your business, the better. Okay. It does phenomenal things for your energy. Your focus goes where your energy flows. Okay. If you're focusing on this business, nothing else in this business, then guess what's going to freaking grow? This business. But if you're trying to focus on her business, his business, their business, oh my God, this business, you're not going to listen and you're not going to succeed. Okay. And here's another thing. Your focus is on one anagic. Focus on anagic for the next for the rest of your life, and I guarantee you will see the fruits of your efforts. Okay, so again, this next part of training is optional. We made the website because we wanted a little bit personalized, and I found a server that made it like kind of easy. The only thing that I had to purchase, and I purchase it renews every year, is just my domain, which is abbassafa.alchami.com. So what I'm going to do for you guys now is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you guys my personal website. Now, if you came through us, you would have seen the website already. But if you guys haven't come through the website, you've probably gone some other way. This is what my website looks like. It looks different on the phone. Here's another thing. When you're doing a website, you need to make it customized to website from web page, desktop to phone. Okay. Mine doesn't look very different to that. So I got get started, which takes you down to the get started button right there. You got home, which takes you to the top. You got my previous go lives. This, whenever someone comes onto my website, and I have my website into my into my Instagram link bio and the Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. Anyone who comes into my website always asks me to come on to a podcast. Always. I get like 50 million requests to come onto a podcast because of these go lives. It's fun. It's different. And I cannot explain to you how much people have come to like message me like 2 years down the tracks. Like, I watched your go lives from day one, and I love them. And I used to love them. Like, when are you going to do your go? Like, we get messages. When are you going to do your next go lives? So please, I need you guys to think about the next go live that you're going to do. I'm going to do a competition. And the competition most likely will be go live challenge. Now, what this will help you do is just take advantage of the level of attention on social media, especially at the moment, and push you guys out of your comfort zone to start speaking in front of the camera better. Start speaking in front of the camera better. You start doing video ads and so on and so forth. Okay. Very easy. Have a boss photo, have our website, have our Instagram links, have the about us, explaining our story, the webinar, boom, get started button. And then I added this as fun, just fun. Okay. And then the contact us, right? This helps people just come to a page where I'm not sending people just to a web page with nothing, just a webinar and a link. I wanted a little bit of personality. Okay. Now, Wix is very user friendly. I'll go to the back end for you. I'll go to the back end for you if it wants to log me in. Sometimes it doesn't let me log in. So Wix is pretty basic, like literally says add link, and then you add the link where you want it to go. I've got to move this out of the way. And then it will say like, add photo to background to this, and you would just go from there. It's so easy. This is my first ever website that I actually did. It's not what it used to be 2 years ago, but it's a hell of a lot better than using the old landing pages. Brody's actually set up some really good landing pages for you guys, which is great. Edit site. Bear with me, guys. My internet's really slow. Can you imagine the Bankstown area having really slow internet? And everyone's on NBN because there's no such thing as cable. So bear with me. It could take a little while to load. If it does take too long, I'll just move on. Okay, it's just taking too long. So basically with the Wix editor, what it's going to do is it just helps you, and it has tutorials on how to add things, how to remove things, everything like that. Don't have more than 3 pages. 3 pages is enough. Have about us page, have your webinar on there, have the sign up link on there, have some Instagram handles where people can reach you to, and everything like that. You want to establish who you are online. There goes my Pokemon. Like, you want to establish it came off, the tail came off. You want to establish who you are online, because guess what? People are going to Google you, and people going to Google you. What are they going to see? The more they see, the better. Let me tell you that. No matter what it is, good publicity or bad publicity. Like, if you type up my name, Abbas and Safa Al-Chami, a shitload of shit will come up. Okay. And it's because I've taken the time, not that much time. I've taken some time to, establish some brands online and just share my story and everything like that. A couple of days ago, I had a lead come through and say, before I even messaged your page, I stalked you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm like, shit, I haven't paid attention to YouTube in like over a year. What'd you watch, woman? She said, I watched your training on Enagic. I watched your story and everything like that. I was like, okay. She's like, I really liked your story, really resonated with you. Bum, that's it. Like, that's it. That's what she Googled me. Like, this woman Googled me. And that's what people are going to do. That's what people are going to do to you. That's what people are going to do to your, Build Your Empire University. You need to be prepared for that stuff. Okay. Now, I'm going to shift this over because my Wix website wouldn't open. So there it goes. So I'm just going to shift this over to your ideal client. So I have a series of notes here. Bear with me. So it's not even loading. All right. I'm going to zoom in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Jana, and then she's going to take it away once I do everything. Now, guys, your ad copy is absolutely everything. You have to spend a shitload of time on your ad copy researching. You can't just start writing an ad and hoping for the best. It doesn't work that way. You need to explain and shift and research and figure out who your ideal clients are. Okay. So copywriting is the most important part of the business. Write good copy and then you get clients. And the copy is the art of speaking to the clients to get sales, right? That's what copywriting is. Write a shit copy and I guarantee you'll get really shit leads. Gone are the days, and we used to make ads like this, by the way. Gone are the days we're like, oh, quit your job in 50 days. Or, I made $2,500 in one day. Like, gone are the days where you could do that and get away with it. Facebook has really cracked down. I mean, when we first started our business, we could actually make health claims, income claims. We could actually do that. We can say, oh, we made a 10K day, when it's true. We did make a 10K day, but we can't write that anymore in our ads because people are becoming more and more skeptic, but also people like Facebook's main objective is to protect the client, which is the person that's scrolling through Facebook. If you are paying for Facebook ads, you're doing business with Facebook and Instagram. So you need to abide by the rules unless your page is going to get shut down. Hence why I told you guys, do not open your Facebook page, Facebook Business Manager, until you, establish a brand, establish something onto your page. You need to gain some attention. So if, for example, Facebook does shut you down, you've done the part. But I'm telling you guys right now, Facebook can shut your page down like that. I mean, I can wake up tomorrow morning and, my page is gone after 3 years. It happens. It really does. And I want to give you guys a little tip. If your partner has Facebook, make them a business admin in Business Manager. What that does is it creates kind of like, whenever you guys go for a loan, have you ever heard of a grantor? Helps your case. So if you're going for a loan, right? Oh, not really a grantor. If you're going for a loan and then you put your application, you earn quite good money. But if you add your partner into it, it's like, well, they got both really good money, right? It'll help your cause more. Same thing with Facebook. If you add another admin onto your Facebook account, they don't have to do anything. Just add them onto the Business Manager. If Facebook comes across you and says, okay, well, I'm going to shut this person down. It's like, no, they have this person. It's like a for and against. Okay. It helps your cause. It does. All right. So I want you guys to write a post-it note right now. Go on to Kmart, since we can't go out of lockdown right now. Click and collect. You need a copywriting handbook. Okay. The copywriting handbook will have everything in there. So like training notes, ideas for your ads, big ideas, what's your offer, useful information, pain points, and everything like that in your the copywriting handbook. This is where you're going to go when you're about to write an ad, right? It will help you figure out what's wrong with your ad and why it's not converting. So this handbook is like kind of like the Holy Grail, right? It's like, oh, My ad's not converting. I'm not getting leads. Okay, well, shit, I didn't like put this into my ad. Why isn't it converting? Okay, well, let me fix this headline. Let me write a couple of lines. Let me take away a couple of lines. Let me change the call to action, and it'll help you figure out why it's not converting. When you're doing an ad, you need to figure out what's the big idea. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, then you need to go to the copywriting mastery vault in Build Your Empire University. So this is what it goes through. The six steps of ad writing. This will go through it. Okay. What's the big idea? What's your offer? What's the pain point of the ideal client? What's keeping them up at night? What keeps them up at night? Is it pain? Is it the reason why? Is it lockdown? Is it the reason that they're not unsure if they can even go back to their industry because they need a jab to go back to their industry? Or is it the reason why they can't go back because their children can't, like, you know, they're not vaccinated? I don't know. That's your job to figure out. If you cannot figure out your pain points or your ideal client's pain points, you won't get them by the neck, right? You won't be like, oh shit, that's what I deal with. That's what I'm doing. Why? But that's what's keeping me up at night. Figure out what they're Googling, right? What they go on Google and search. You got to figure out, you got to think, okay, if I was my ideal client, if my ideal client's a childcare worker, it's not, by the way, but I'm just using this example. If my ideal client is a childcare worker and they're up at night and I'm like, how does my life get worse if I don't fix whatever's not making me sleep at night? For example, loss of income. Shit, the childcare industry's taken a massive hit since 2016. Let's be honest here. Okay. How does my life get worse if I don't fix the problem? I can't put food on the table. Most, like people in childcare leave childcare because the loss of income. It's not enough to pay their bills. You need to read, and then in your copywriting handbook, you got to read all that before you actually write a new ad. Okay. You know, every single time you guys go through if you guys are scrolling on Facebook or TikTok or anything like that, and you guys come across a really exciting word, write it down. Figure out how to use it. Like, I don't know, I was just obsessed a couple of weeks ago. So I was obsessed with this word called excruciating. I was so obsessed with it. I used to use it all the time. And then I put it into one of my posts, and it actually did really well because it's just the word makes you feel certain things. Okay. So before you write a headline, you got to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to get this person's attention enough to scroll through, enough to continue reading what I have to say instead of scrolling past like, fuck this shit, you know, this is full of shit. What is that? What kind of fucking scam is that? Right. You need some raw materials. You need to do the research. You need to study what other people are doing. But the best part of Build Your Empire University, let me tell you, is that you have the ability and you have information that other people don't. I speak to marketers, social media marketers, every single type of marketer, sales marketing, every single day. I'm telling you, half the shit that comes out of my mouth, they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, flicks imaginary hair, you know, like, you got to come across to fucking Build Your Empire University. She's like, oh, that's cool. I really want to learn that. Like, how do you know about Jordan Belfort? Well, I speak the language. Hello. All right. You want to write these words down. These can be used later. Exciting, career, systems, reasons, thriving, exposing, hazards, brutal, kamikaze, innovative, tech training, ice breaking, 3 myths, myths busted, the truth, the secrets, unleashed, hacks, launch, project, business masterclass, timing, exploding. These are some really exciting words, right? You can put them into your ad copy or your post and really explode that shit. Okay. If you don't spend time getting to know your ideal client, then you can't convey a proper message that has exciting words, no headlines, no book on copywriting, no idea who they are. Don't expect. Okay. So if you don't do the research, guys, if you don't do the work, if you don't figure out who your ideal person is, your ideal client, the perfect buyer to go from point A to point B, perfect buyer. Lead conversation. Lead comes in. Lead conversation. Perfect lead conversation. No fucking bullshitting around. Watch the webinar. Get back to the webinar. Watch the webinar. After the webinar, they sign up. Get to module 5. Coaching call. Buy. That's a perfect fucking sale. Perfect. It doesn't get more perfect like that. I'm telling you right now. Get your panties in a twist. It's amazing. Once you get past someone that does that with no questions asked, I'm telling you, it is amazing. How do we get that? You need to spend time to get to know your ideal client. You can't do that if you start fucking writing an ad like in 5 seconds. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. You need to spend some time. Sorry if I'm swearing. It's the way I express myself. You can't do that unless you research. You have to research. You got to know what these people are dealing with. Gone are the days where like your ad is what you've been through. Like, I used to work 10 hours, like 45 hours a week and come home to a husband that didn't appreciate me and give a shit about me. He used to ask me to make me feel. Gone are the days. You don't like, that's not how it works anymore. You have to put yourself in a warrior position. You're going to war to people to be like, get them to sign up and be on your side. That's what you're doing, right? Gone are the days, I'm telling you, I wish it was that easy anymore. And even when it was that easy, it still wasn't easy to make sales. Okay? Because you're like fishing through all the people's bullshit, trying to pick at them and go through. And this person's making, excuses. This one told me their mama has cancer when she doesn't. People do that. Now, they'll come up with 50 million excuses why they haven't watched the webinar. Let me tell you. Been there, done that. All right. We want people who don't need babying. They will get through the webinar. They will get through the training, and they don't need you to freaking hold their hands and wipe their ass. Okay. You need to take your time to collect raw materials. Each sentence. Okay. So the first 3 sentences in your ad copy need to be so compelling that the person is compelled and sold on reading the next one. Okay. So when you're reading back your ad, don't skim through. Read it as if you're your perfect ideal client, and then it will continue on to the next one. It will just flow. Okay. Perfect ad would just flow. It will make sense. Okay. For example, this is what, let's talk about childcare educators for like in this thing. Let's talk about the issues that childcare educators are dealing with. So a survey, and I will write this in my fucking ad, a survey conducted in 2016 explained that people in the childcare industry are leaving the job or the career because of low income. Okay. But because of the pandemic in 2020, people are running in bucket loads away from the childcare industry. So you got less people studying, less educators on the job, right? What does that do to the future generations, right? Now, at one stage, the childcare industry still probably is one of the most saturated industries in Sydney or anywhere in Australia, right? Saturated. You got people studying childcare left, right, and center, okay? But now people are running for the hills away from childcare, not studying. Imagine the perspective that it puts on the younger years who need someone to teach them, right? Everything changed when the government announced the education of future. This is like 2 headlines that you can do. Everything changed when the government announced that the education of future generation wasn't essential. Or here are 3 reasons why childcare educators are choosing to start a small business instead of extending their time in the field. I know for a fact those 2 headlines will get the attention of my ideal client. Okay. Before we go to the next part, do you guys have any questions? I'll open up the chat. Ideal client, childcare industry, headlines, copywriting. I don't know, anything. No questions. You guys are all professionals on writing ad copies. Are we? That's what I get, right? That's what I get when you guys don't ask questions. I'm like, yeah, I get it, Safa. You're just teaching me nothing. I get it. I understand. But I know all of you guys
Safa,
are
I'm
like, what do you mean by this?
Safa, I'm targeting the healthcare industry.
So it's going through the phases, and then it's like 2 modules down, right? Just the copy and writing vault. It's very important. And the best part of it is you can watch it an extensive amount of times and still learn so much. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Jana, you can take it away.
Yep. Okay. So I prepared like just 9 questions. Can I share my screen? Why isn't this? Safa, can you please give me access to share my screen?
All right. Before we continue, I'm just letting you guys know that we have 10 more minutes. Do you reckon you'll get through in 10 minutes? Yeah. Cool. Done.
Hopefully. Yep.
I'm going to make you host now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks. Yep. It's working. All right. Sorry. Ooh, where's my document? All right. So I've got 9 questions, and I felt like these questions really helped me when I was doing my research. Before I move on, I thought that writing the ad was the hardest part. And then I realized that it wasn't. The hardest part was actually doing the research. I did spend a lot of time on my research, and then you know how long it took me to write my ad? No joke, 20 minutes. I was sitting there because I had all my papers, all my research in front of me, and it took me 20 minutes to write my ad. That's like and non-stop. My pencil, I did not lift my pencil off the paper. My hand was actually hurting by the end of it. It took me 20 minutes to write the ad that I'm actually running this very moment. First question, you did talk most of them, Safa, but the first one, where does your dream buyer hang out and congregate? Is it online or is it offline? But be very, very specific. So if you do choose online, don't say Facebook. Facebook is it's way too broad. Be very specific. For example, let's say, or my ideal client is teachers, since I'm a teacher. My ideal client are actually spending time in this group. Be very, very specific. I've actually got one group that I keep checking on a daily basis because I see what they're posting, and then it gives me inspiration for me to create posts as well. So it helped me a lot.
Facebook groups, like the places where like those little like groups where people just share inspiration and things that like in there. Okay. So all right, cool. So obviously, for example, I used to be a part of a learning framework, which is one that we used to go through for childcare. ELF. We used to call it ELF. And I used to see a lot of struggles, and people used to ask, so you get pain points from there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I did. And there's one group that I'm constantly checking on a daily basis, literally. Where does your dream buyer get their information? Is it Google? Is it blogs? Is it books? Is it magazines? Go into as much details as possible. I used askthepublic.com, and that's where I got some of the questions that teachers have been asking this year. And I don't have the paper on me, but it just looks like a circle. Go into askthepublic.com, and just type in like 2 words about your ideal client, and it'll come up with a huge number of questions that teachers ask. That the most, what's the word? The most frequent questions. Yeah, that's it. What is their biggest frustration and challenges? So, and this is probably one of the most important points. Walk in their shoes, and you'll be able to create better products and services that address their specific pain points and problems. I went to one specific website that helped me answer this question was the Teachers Union, the Teachers Federation, New South Wales Teacher Federation, because they look at the struggles and the challenges of teachers and they try to fix these problems. So I spent a fair bit of time on the union's website. And another resource that I used for that as well was Google Scholar.
Google Scholar?
So Scholar, yeah. So they're all the journals that have been published recently that talk about the struggles and the frustration and the challenges that we have in the industry. So yeah, I highly recommend unions. If I think all occupations should have a union, right?
Yep.
Or most of them. And yeah, just studies. So I literally just typed in studies that have been conducted about teachers, the struggles of teachers. And this is where I actually got my statistics. Because as Safa mentioned, you need to include statistics. So
the reason why we add statistics, guys, into your ads is because it shows proof. It doesn't make sure it makes your ideal buyer know that you're not talking shit, right? So you want that proof. People want that proof so they can trust you, but also like okay, well this has to be true. Like, you know, the Australian Bureau of Statistics says this, or the union, the teachers union says this, and I understand because I was one of them. I feel the same thing. That's why it's proof.
And if they do look it up, they kind of find it, and like that gives you, it gives your ad more like validity and reliability as well. What are their hopes, dreams, and desires? Paint a vivid picture of what life could be like after using your services.
Okay.
Yeah. And what are their biggest fears? What keeps them up at night, tossing and turning? So just exactly what Safa said. I think my biggest fear was, because I went through a lot past year. I kept on applying to jobs, and I never got a permanent position. So I'm still a temp teacher. But my turning point was at my current school. Like, I've been getting out of my comfort zone just to prove myself, right? And then a permanent position finally came up and I applied for it, and then I came second. So they actually put me on the eligibility list, and they gave the job to a male teacher. And I was actually told the reason why he got it is because he's a male teacher.
Yeah, because that was the commitment women do. So if you are a woman in any like field, whether it be law, whether it be, you know, like teaching or childcare, you have a less advantage because along the way women have responsibilities. We have like our relationships, our kids come first, and that's why. And that's another thing that you can write in your. I think that's the one thing that kept you know, Jana tossing and turning. We have like 2 minutes, so I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Okay. What is their preferred form of communication? Some people might prefer that you actually talk to them rather than just type like a chat. What phrases, exact language do they use? I remember the first ad I did write, Safa's like, oh, this is like, it's talking too much sale. Like your ideal client will not be able. And you told me that they're not going to be able to understand these words, so I had to change it as well. What does a day in your dream buyer's life look like? Literally from the moment they wake up at 7 a.m. like, is that the time they wake up? Again, what's next? Do they work out? Do they have a coffee? And like so on. And if you have a look at my ads, it actually mentions, like, that's what I've got in my ad, literally. From the moment I wake up until the end of the day. And finally, what makes them happy? So I found that these 9 questions actually helped me a lot when I was doing my research. And then I'm telling you, my ad, when I was writing my ad, it took me 20 minutes only.
Well, there you go.
And it's been generating.
It gives, I'm just going to put that, I've taken a photo of that. I'm going to pop it in the chat so everyone can get access to it. Thank you so much, Jana. That really helped. Did you want to add anything extra just to summarize everything?
No, that's it. The reason why we actually have an ideal client is because our budget is so little compared to companies that, you know, spend millions of dollars on ads. So that's why it's so important for us to have an ideal client.
Absolutely. Well, that just paints everything and summarizes everything. Before we, I'm gonna request you back the host, Jana.
Yep. Stop sharing. Do I know how to do that? Oh, I should.
Just click on me and then just give me host. Regardless, doesn't matter. We'll just close it and everything. So what we'll do, guys, is over the next coming weeks, you guys can ask the questions in the chat if you guys have any questions about this specific little training. But I wanted to dive down into your perfect ideal client. So I hope this really helped you take your ads and everything to the next level. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Thank you, Jana.